Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a colleague.
You how to connect your camcorder to tape or going to a memory device. Videos for YouTube, or when you want to go to the trouble of putting it on Movie Studio or Sony Vegas. This is a Canon HV20, and it's got the FireWire connection right here in the back. And you'll also need a long FireWire cable. Now, in my case, my camcorder is about 8 feet away from me on a tripod, and I've got a 12-foot FireWire cable that I run from the camcorder to my computer. So what you do is you connect the FireWire cable to your camcorder and run the other end to your computer, and you start your video editing program. In my case, it'll be Sony Vegas or Sony Movie Studio. And once you start it, you turn the camcorder on, and as soon as you do, an option on your screen here, you can see that I'm capturing this video live. And once you do that, anytime you want to capture button, do that. There's one thing you want to do on your speakers, or the video that you want. So when you do that, video clip is low definition or high definition, as I've done on device and going back to your computer. I also have a tape in the camcorder. Video tips of the week. Find more like this at www.
Hello, this video is how to transfer old video. What I want to show you today is I have a you can keep it on extra, have it online where you can have it forever, and then the quality stays the same. So what I want to show you here with the Sony Handycam, a device that you would need to do this with, it's a Pinnacle.
Hello, I'm Ross on behalf of ExpertVillage.com. Let's talk about consumer camcorders. How do you connect your camcorder to your
you need in 5 simple. I'll show you an example in this video. We're going to cover one. Stay tuned. Advanced options. Most camcorders designed for high output, but some. So if you're working with a DSLR, make sure you have access to the internet. Not an open connection without firewall restrictions. This is super. It's about producing a clean. You have 2 options with a computer. Now this is the most for this setup, and then one recorder capture card. If you're only going to stream live with no peripherals, the black, in our case, that's a mini HDMI to regular HDMI. Then you'll need a USB 3.0 cable or a Thunderbolt cable to connect the capture device to your computer. The good news is, that's all the hardware that you'll need for a wired live streaming setup. It's important to mention here that even with all the proper equipment, in order to stream high-definition video over the web, you'll need a computer that's up to the task. Most encoding platforms like Ustream, Livestream, and YouTube Live have recommended system requirements on their sites, but for starters, you'll need at least a quad-core processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and a dedicated video card, plus an updated operating system. Now, the other option is to stream wirelessly, making your camera portable so you can move around a location. Instead of a capture card like the Blackmagic one we featured, you'll need a wireless transmitter like the Teradek VidiU or the Livestream Broadcaster Pro. Like the other devices, they take an HDMI signal right from your camera's output, then encode and send it wirelessly to a streaming platform like Ustream, Livestream, or YouTube Live. The Livestream Broadcaster models only work with the Livestream platform. Both Teradek and Livestream have full-sized and mini models of their wireless transmitters, and I've decided to show you one of each. For reliable transmission, you'll need a rock-solid wireless connection. So if you're working in an area with no local Wi-Fi, you can either turn your smartphone into a hotspot or use a 4G USB modem and plug it directly into the wireless transmitter. Both of these devices are pretty simple and straightforward. The hardest part of streaming wirelessly is finding a balance between the resolution and the bandwidth. A bit rate can also play a role in getting you a solid signal. You should always test your stream on multiple devices to see if the quality is sufficient or if the latency between the camera and the stream is too high for your needs. Now for the last part, platform. If you're using a site like Ustream or YouTube Live, you'll need to sign up for an account, and many platforms have both free and paid options. Some platforms have built-in live web broadcast. You also want, you can send it out to people. Now you have everything you need.
Hey, I am John Barker, and welcome to another episode of Here to Record. I'm going to show you how to get through a multicam. I'm going for a very, this is a lot of the hardware you need, but aside from that, these devices on the table allow you to input SDI or HDMI. I need some Thunderbolt cables, so I've got those here, 2 Thunderbolt cables for the mini recorders, and I'll need a HDMI cable for every camera. I've got one here for my GoPro, and I'll just put what I use those for, and you can watch my videos. My cable, and then the 2 main cameras are coming in. I can see here the video input is actually SDI, so I'll just change that to HDMI because I've plugged it in via HDMI. And the third one is already set up for HDMI. So I can close out of that. Something I always like to do is just double check that everything is working within Blackmagic's Media Express. It's a really good way to see if all your connections are coming in properly. Now I've just made a slight tweak there, and I've changed my overhead camera to be the Intensity Shuttle. So you can see that now. So my overhead camera is plugged in here to the Intensity Shuttle. And if I look at one of the mini recorders, takes a few seconds, but there's the GoPro. Hello, GoPro. And the final mini recorder